Hello everyone, this is a Dash Mini waffle maker, and this is a Dash Mini without the little tab on top. My little one was playing with it and it fell off, but it still works fine. This is the flat iron. So they're already hot. This one I used this morning, so I hadn't cleaned it yet. So I am going to show how to make Wonderbread Chaffles. Now, there are a lot of recipes on Pinterest and Facebook, wherever you go to find recipes. There are a lot of recipes for chaffles. The word chaffle is a combination of the words waffle and cheese, or cheese and waffles, and therefore chaffle. The original recipe basically calls for cheese and egg, and then it's made in a waffle machine, therefore chaffle. But as smart people have done for many years, they've changed the recipe a little bit, and it's become many different recipes. So this is the one that I found. Now, I tweaked the one that I found a little bit. So this is actually this is basically my recipe for Wonderbread Chaffles. And this is the instructions, and I will take a picture and post it with my video. So I'm going to get started. I'm hoping I don't do these videos. This is only like my second tutorial, so y'all bear with me. I am a mom of 6, so I have a busy household, so who knows what will go flying by and what you'll hear while I'm on this video. All right. So my recipe, the original recipe, only makes about 4 waffles. So I have quadrupled the recipe, and so that is actually the recipe that I'm going to make, is the quadruple recipe. So the first ingredient is 4 eggs. So yes or no. Okay, good. 2 eggs. Just keep talking. 3 eggs. And 4 eggs. Okay. My handy dandy whisk. Whisk the eggs together. Mom, is this enough? The next ingredient is mayonnaise. I don't know that that's enough sugar. I guess if you just want to make slime, you can. Okay, I don't do like exact measurements. That is approximately 1 tablespoon. I'm just not an exact measurer. If you're one of those that likes to measure exactly, go for it. But this recipe is pretty flexible. not needing to be too terribly specific. So basically for every egg you add, you put in a tablespoon of mayonnaise. Then the next ingredient is water.
She was down here. You were upstairs.
It takes, so for every egg, then there's 1 teaspoon of water. Now again, it's flexible, it's a little bit flexible. I just add a tablespoon or a scant tablespoon and call it even for the quadruple recipe. A scant tablespoon. And the same goes for the simple syrup. I use Skinny Syrups, Simple Syrup 0. And that's the one that I like. This was not on the original recipe. I added it because I just felt like it really needed a little bit of flavor. It was very bland before. So I added the simple syrup. But you can add other flavors of simple syrup. There's many, many different flavors. So depending on what you're going to be using your chaffles for, you may want to give it a little bit of different flavor. So, all right, so I have all of my wet ingredients together. I'm going to whisk them up. The next ingredient is almond flour. Again, the original recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of almond flour per egg. 4 tablespoons is 1/4 cup. So I just decided for my quadruple recipe just to go with 1 cup of almond flour just to keep it simple. But again, if you like to be really specific, it's up to you. Me, I like simple. And if the recipe is flexible or don't have to be real specific, I'm happy to adjust. And that was not quite 1 cup. I also like to get at least 12 chaffles, so adding a little bit more of this or that adds up. And then the final ingredient is, oh, I already got it out. The final ingredient is baking powder. Now, there is a difference between baking soda and baking powder. And I have mistakenly added baking soda instead of baking powder, and it just doesn't quite turn out the same. Trial and error, right? That's what I get for having similar containers. Okay. So now I will say that if you don't have the simple syrup, it can be left out. It doesn't have to be in there. And And if you have some other kind of sweetener that you have on hand that you want to use, you could use a little bit of just dry sweetener if you do like the little bit of a sweeter flavor to your chaffles. Okay, so here is the batter. It is a, I don't know if you can see how well you can see, but the batter is similar to a pancake batter. So, okay. So the instructions are to use use 3 tablespoons of chaffle batter per chaffle. That is 3 tablespoons on the waffle iron. The flat iron, you can use 3 tablespoons, but you can get away with 2 tablespoons per chaffle. And I like to do that just because I don't need a lot of bread. It's not a big deal to me. And I would rather have more chaffles than bigger chaffles, if that makes sense. I'd rather be able to make more sandwiches for my time that I'm putting into the process rather than bigger chaffles. But and depending on what you're wanting your chaffle for, as to whether or not you would want the waffle as opposed to the flat iron. So these waffle makers are really easy. They're just plug in and unplug to turn on and off. They get hot. They just heat up really quickly, and they're super easy to use. They don't need oil to be sprayed on. I know some people do that, and the first chaffle does stick just a little bit, but after that they don't stick at all. So I would just rather not do that if I don't have to. So I don't. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do this. I just drop 3 dollops onto the waffle machine. And for the waffle maker one, I spread it out, and then I close it and I flip it over really quickly. Now this thing is hot, so you have to be a little bit careful. I just do it. So I have used a small hot pad or a napkin or something just to protect my fingers, but if you do it fast enough, it doesn't burn. So what this does, by flipping it over, it helps you get a full waffle without it running over. It makes it, I don't know, if I don't flip it over, it creates an uneven waffle, and I just like it better this way. Okay, so I'm going to first, on this flat iron, I'm going to, before I do that, so once I turn it over, I set a 3-minute timer. So, hey Google, set a 3-minute timer.
3 minutes, and we're starting now.
So this will be a little bit longer than 3 minutes, but it's basically 3 minutes, and that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the flat iron. The flat iron is, I like to use the flat iron for chaffles when I want like a burger patty, or I mean a burger bun, something for burgers, or my breakfast sandwiches. I like to use the flat iron, and I can use less batter again, and therefore I get more waffles. I'm going to show you about cooking 3 tablespoons of mix and then we'll do 2 tablespoons so you can see the difference in the size of the chaffle. Okay, so that's 3 tablespoons. I spread it to the edge. This one I do not turn over. I've tried to do that, and it ends up messing it then creates an uneven chaffle. So I do not turn this one over. I just leave it sitting like it is. And while those are cooking, I'm going to clean up a little bit. I've been eating keto lifestyle for probably 2.5 years now, and this has been a really good find for me, because while I didn't miss bread that much, there were occasions that I really did miss bread. And my husband has really learned to like it too. So I've been making some breakfast sandwiches for him as well, and that has been really nice since he's been working from home. Hey Google, stop. Okay, so then I just quickly flip the machine back over, and it's a nice waffle. Okay, so your waffle machine has a non-stick coating on it, so you want to be careful that you do not use metal, or if you do, you want to be really careful that you don't scratch it. Okay, so I use these wooden skewers, or I don't know what they're called, to wedge up underneath the chaffle, and it just pops right up. They're nice and brown and even all over. You can see that. Makes just a nice even waffle. So that's the chaffle, the Wonderbread chaffle done on the waffle iron. Okay. Then we'll check on this. It's coming. It's almost done. So the top side of the flat iron, the top of the chaffle, doesn't get as brown because it's obviously not against the iron at the top. But it raises a little bit, and it looks good. Okay. So here is, it was stuck a little bit. There's the bottom side. There's the top side. And transfer it to the cooling rack. So now I will put just 2 tablespoons on. And if I just do 2 tablespoons, again, I can get 12 chaffles out of the quadruple recipe. Again, I just spread it to the edges and close it up. Hey Google, set a 3-minute timer.
3 minutes, and that's starting now.
I will pause it and I'll show you the difference when we're done. Okay, so the timer has just gone off and here is my 2 tablespoon chaffle. And there it is. I'll transfer it. Okay, as you can see, it's not that much difference. And then there's the difference between the 3. Let me see if y'all can see that. Maybe. Okay, so this is the 3 tablespoon flat iron chaffle, the 2 tablespoon flat iron chaffle, and then the 3 tablespoon chaffle with the waffle iron. So just depends on what you like and what you're wanting to make with your chaffle. So that's how I do it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all enjoyed my not so professional video, but I enjoyed showing y'all. I usually like to have people just over at my house and we work on it together, but this will do in a pinch. All right, y'all have a great one. Shuffle on.